Hey, what's up, guys? Just coming to you this week, a little update on the pre-contest nutrition plan and a little bit on training. It was a pretty good week last week. I really have adjusted to the new macronutrients with the splits and all. Figured out the dehydration thing. I only had one iffy day last week. It's just a little cold right now, so it's hard to get all that water in. So I've been drinking like just hot water in the morning instead to make sure I get enough water in for my workouts. Last week was my first refeed day. I talked about it in the video last week about trying to raise the leptin levels. It really winds up being an awesome day when you're dieting because you get a lot of carbohydrate. I actually doubled my carbs. I was going to go with 75%, which would be more conservative for my body type. So I'm going to talk a little bit about body types today as well, so you understand what I'm talking about. But for me, I pretty much be classified as an endomorph. Probably recommended for refeed days to go at about 50 to 75% times your daily carbohydrate intake, and 100% would be more for an ectomorph or a mesomorph. I went to 100%. I really want to see what I can get away with, especially in the beginning of my plan here. If I can get away with more carbs and continue to lose body fat, I'll do that for all the reasons that I've talked about over the last couple of weeks here. So talk a little bit about body types so you can understand that. It really does matter that you know what type of body type you are. If you're going to engineer a fat loss plan or any type of nutrition plan, even muscle gaining, athletic performance, whatever you're trying to do with your nutrition plan, you kind of want to know what type of body type you are. Now, these body types, I don't know, I kind of call them pseudoscience, right? So they're a little bit anecdotal. There's not like a blood test you can take to say if you're endomorph, mesomorph, or an ectomorph. But generally speaking, an endomorph is going to be someone who naturally carries more body fat, is able to get fairly strong in a short period of time, and carries, in addition to carrying that body fat, carries a decent amount of muscle mass to go along with that. So if you're going to compare that, maybe I'll throw a picture up on today's blog post, just give you an example of it. If not, just Google it. An example of that, if you know strength athletics, if you take a football team, the linemen and stuff like that are probably more of your endomorph looking body type. So big dudes, lots of body fat, but also lots of muscle. And then so the next one would be an ectomorph. Ectomorph would be someone who is fairly lean. So a person that doesn't have a hard time seeing their abs almost all the time, but more on a smaller bone structure and finds having a hard time gaining muscle mass or gaining any mass at all, so body fat or muscle mass. So that'd be an ectomorph. Mesomorph, these lucky bastards who are able to gain muscle, stay lean, and gain a lot of muscle, so fairly big. Pretty much a perfect bodybuilder type body would be a mesomorph. These guys and girls can get fairly big and stay fairly lean almost all the time. When they do diet down for a physique competition or just to lose body fat, it doesn't take them as long. So we generally rate this on a scale of 1 to 7. Most people are not just one thing. As a matter of fact, probably nobody is just one thing. Again, keep in mind here, it's not super scientific, it's more anecdotal. We'll rate each body type on a scale of 1 to 7 and pick and choose from each 3. Over the years, I kind of would rate myself about a 5 to 2 endo to mesomorph, or even a 6 to 1 endo to mesomorph. So I'm pretty close to a pure endomorph, carry a lot of body fat naturally, don't have a hard time increasing my strength numbers, and carry an okay amount of muscle mass for my frame, kind of medium frame, medium bone structure. Why this matters and what this helps with is putting your macronutrients together for a nutrition plan. So for me, I have to kind of go on the lower carbohydrate side out of the 3 body types. Endomorphs tend to get away with less carbohydrate in their nutrition plans, a little bit higher fat just to make up for the calories that I need, and slightly higher protein. Now, not slightly higher protein because I need that to maintain my muscle mass. The good thing about being an endomorph is that we don't tend to lose a whole lot of muscle even at restricted calories. That's good. But we do have to restrict calories a little bit more than say a mesomorph, and especially an ectomorph. Ectomorphs need the highest calories to lose body fat on, and also have an easy time doing that if they have any body fat to lose at all, and they will for a physique competition. So all that's kind of to tell you what those body types are. It is important to know, if you ever sit down with me here at CrossFit Renaissance, right, to go over a nutrition plan, we're going to talk about that. But it's important to know if you're putting your numbers together. Because if you put your numbers together and base them just on some cookie cutter type diet, and those numbers are geared towards somebody's client who's an ectomorph and you're an endomorph, you're going to be really, really screwed up and not get the results you want out of it. Okay. So again, recap, did my refeed day, took my carbs up 100% of my daily carb intake, super fun, hammering carbs all day Friday, had a really, really great workout on Friday night, bodybuilding workout, which I've been doing on Fridays, arms, it was awesome, all those carbs really pumped up the muscles and then put me in an anabolic environment, and hopefully those Fridays are gonna allow me to even gain a little bit of muscle mass on the calorie restriction, especially on that day, which is what I need. If I'm for a bodybuilding competition, I've always had kind of weak arms in relationship to the rest of my body, smaller comparatively to my legs and back and stuff like that. So it was a good workout because of that refeed. I'm gonna probably stretch those refeeds to every 2 weeks. Right now, higher body fats need less. Talked about that last week. As I decrease my body fat, I'll need more. My weight loss is going awesome. I'm down, let's see, in 12 days, because I weighed on Friday before my refeed, I was down 4.1 pounds. That's a little on the high side for weight loss, but I'll ride that out for the first month. It's good. I'm losing some body fat, taking some progress pictures, probably release them next week so you can see them all in progression, see how that's going. So went from 201 down to 197.4 or something like that, 201.5. 197.4. So it's good. Training's going awesome. Hitting some strength PRs, which is pretty cool for being on a calorie restriction. Looking for some big singles coming up. Trying to pull at least 585 off the ground next week for the deadlift. See if I can't get 335 to 350 go for the bench press next week, which would be 2 lifetime PRs. Not common for calorie restriction, but focusing a lot more on quality food going in, and high nutrients and stuff like that, lots of more vegetables and starchier carbs and all these complex carbohydrates and things like that. So things are going really well with the nutrition plan, and the training is finally starting to pick up as well. So that's a recap, talking about the refeed and stuff like that. Finally today, just want to go over, I always get questions about supplements. What supplements should you take for your goals, and what's important, what's not important. I usually list the supplements in kind of 3 levels. You call it either A, B, C, or kind of must have, should have, be nice to have, those kind of levels. So right now I'm just basically in my must have categories, and here's what I'm taking, guys. Branched chain amino acids, of course I take Core ABC, the best branched chain aminos out there. Take fish oil every day. Let's go one by one here. Branched chain amino acids, they keep your body in an anabolic and anti-catabolic state around your workouts. And so you always want to be in that state. You never want to be wasting muscle. You always want to be promoting muscle growth. So anti-catabolic, fighting muscle wasting, anabolic, promoting muscle growth. That's what those 2 terms mean. Even harder in a calorie deficit, right? When you're in a calorie deficit, you're generally speaking in a catabolic state already. So we want to mitigate that. So I always take amino acids around my training, but it's even more important as you're in a calorie deficit. It's almost essential when you're in a calorie deficit. I will increase my branched chain amino acid intake as my calories get lower, or I spend more time in a calorie deficit. So as I diet for the next 4 to 7 months, which is looking to be the term of my nutrition plan for contest prep here, I'll add branched chain amino acids throughout the day to keep me anabolic, keep me anti-catabolic, so I won't just do it around my workout. I'll probably start during the day supplementation with amino acids, branched chains, maybe another 2 or 3 weeks. I could probably get away with not doing that right now. Of course, fish oil, just taking a gram, about a gram of EPA, DHA every day. I would if my nutrition wasn't as sound and I was eating some inflammatory foods, or kind of going off the rails on the weekend like I did when I wasn't following a strict nutrition plan, so eating high omega-6 fatty acid foods, like I would eat chicken wings every weekend and stuff like that, I would need more of that. But right now I'm at about 1 gram EPA DHA a day, taking Carlson's fish oil, really high quality, and on the lower scale for price comparatively to some other brands like Nordic Naturals and stuff like that, very comparable quality. So about 1 gram EPA DHA, taking a product called Natural Calm. It's a magnesium product, and it's something that really starts to help with muscle recovery. At night, kind of relaxes the muscle, allows them to absorb nutrients. I take that every night before I go to bed. It knocks me out. I gotta be careful. I gotta take it out like 5 minutes before I go to bed because it really puts me right to sleep. Taking some glutamine at night. Now, I don't think glutamine's like a must-have. We have it at the house right now. My wife is taking it to help with some other issues as well. So I'm putting about 2 grams of that in with the magnesium. It can promote growth hormone at night, which is a good thing. Again, anabolic. Other than that, covering my bases with vitamin D in the wintertime, about 4,000 IUs a day. Vitamin C, taking 1 gram of that a day just to keep that immune system boosted. I will add to my supplementation as I move through my prep. I'll probably add a thermogenic for some fat burning as weight loss starts to stall. I'll do that before I really hammer my calories down too much. Most likely take a product from Core Nutritionals. I really trust their products, super high quality and tested. They have a pretty good one called Burn. I'll check that out, but I'll look around and see what else is out there. It's been a long time since I've actively taken a thermogenic, probably close to a decade. So there's probably some really good ones out there, and those tend to help with appetite suppression as well. You start to get lower calorie, it becomes an ugly monster that rears its head. So I'll update you guys on that, but cool. That's for this week, and I'll see you guys next week.